Welcome back to the studio. My name is Ben. This is part 9 of making my own version of a bag. Yes, this is the first full-length YouTube video I'm making on this process. However, all the small videos are also on YouTube as well as several other platforms, link in description. If you like this type of content more than the smaller, shorter length videos, please comment that down below. That's really useful information for me. To continue on what we have been working on in the past videos, we are making the small flaps that serve as closures for small pockets I'm attaching to a shoulder bag I made in one of the past videos. When making pockets like this, making a small template to cut out all your pieces is very helpful, as you want all the edges to line up perfectly. Sewing is a tedious task, but making sure you do all the prep work is vital in making sure your finished result is exactly how you envision it. Taking your time to iron and pin down all your seams and spray adhesive if you need to, and do whatever else may be to make your finished result cleaner and better will always end up being worth it in the long run. Rushing things will lead to your downfall and end up just driving you crazy. Trust me, I've been there too many times to count. Once you have assembled all the pieces using a 2-inch strip of however long length you want, band your pieces together. This seems like a fairly simple task, however, take your time because it's very easy to mess up, and when you mess up, you're not likely to be able to save your pieces. So think about this very thoroughly and make sure to use all your time wisely. I recommend starting with the backside, and once you have it attached to your strip, then I would recommend serging. I decided to skip serging here and wait until after attaching the front as well. However, it's just as easy to do it in this step right now. After attaching the banding to your back piece, then you are going to want to attach the bottom face of the front of the pocket to the strap. This sounds a little confusing, but essentially it's the main body that the flap will rest on when they snap together. To attach these, I recommend marking the middle of both the sides of the strap, as well as both of the pieces, the front face as well as the flap. This will help you attach everything straight and make sure that everything lines up in the end. To start sewing it on, I would also recommend start in the middle. That helps you just line up everything. So you'll start with one side, sew it, and then flip to the other side starting from the middle again. This will just end up giving you a nice clean result like this little pocket right here, and you can make these in all sorts of different shapes. It was quite difficult to make the very small ones you'll see later on. However, these little ones that are like a 4-inch by 3-inch were fairly easy to make. This is where things got difficult when I decided to try making a pocket without a backing and attach it straight to a piece. This ended up causing some issues. However, I think the end result was okay. It's not as clean as the other ones, which were complete pockets. However, I'm fairly happy with it. I wouldn't do this strategy again in the future. However, learning that this wasn't an option was good, so I wouldn't ruin something else down the line. This wasn't ruined. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. However, these type of things drive me crazy. So if you're that type of way, sewing might be something for you. And if not, well, it still might be for you, so give it a shot. Sewing is one of those things that anyone can learn as long as you have the dedication for it. Don't mind this guy, he's a bit of a loaf. But after attaching all the pockets to this flap, I decided to close up the piece as it will be attaching to a rolling tray that I made in a past video. Yes, you heard me right, a rolling tray. This was an interesting project to make. I've never really made stoner accessories before. However, it was very interesting to me. As you might guess, I dabble in the sport. This is a fun project for anybody. I would highly recommend trying it. And also, it's just a cool thing to try and make a really interesting utility pouch, even if you're not somebody who dabbles in that activity. As you can see here, attaching the complete pockets were far easier. All I had to do was attach them on the sides, and that would be plenty strong. What was actually cool about attaching it this way is I now had a little hammer loop or something similar I could use for scissors or whatever else I wanted. Now it was time to attach all the snaps to these. This is honestly one of my favorite parts. However, I got some feedback saying the up and down flashy camera footage was a little hard to take in, so I won't be showing all the snaps, even though they are my favorite part. This is a little quicker than I would usually do, but if you like this way, let me know in the comments down below. Now it's time to attach it to the bag and make sure everything fits. Seems to be working great. Now let's compare it to the original. The original features post snaps, which are far more interesting. However, I think the silver snaps work far better as I have far more of them. They also have some smaller pockets on the inside, but they're in a more difficult part to reach. It also has an adjustable strap, which is something I want to include in mine in the future. However, for this strap, I didn't have enough length for that. I decided to add these pockets to the strap originally, and then added these pockets as well as this little rolling tray. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. There's also a zipper pocket on the inside as well. I really enjoyed making this. If you would like to purchase one, I am open to making one. Please feel free to email me at oneofnonestudioonline@gmail.com or reach out through the website. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day. Leave a comment for any questions, and I hope you enjoyed.